How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode. Before I begin today's episode, I just want to let you know that I just started a newsletter where I will be giving weekly tips and advice on how to build your confidence and overcome your social anxiety. So if you're interested in that, you can join. It's completely free. You can find it in the show notes of this episode. The more we try to hide our anxiety, the more our anxiety consumes us. Our biggest fear is not necessarily talking to people. Oftentimes, our biggest fear is that other people are going to find out that we are anxious. We can become hyper fixated on this because of the immense shame that comes with this. We don't want people to know because it makes us feel weak. So, what happens? We hyper fixate on how we present to the world. How am I talking? What is my voice like? Am I shaking? Are my armpits sweating? Am I blushing? All of these symptoms and behavioral things that we try to control. But our attempts to control this end up controlling us. Now we can't get out of our head. All we can do is think about every single symptom that we have and every way in which we are presenting in not the ideal way. So we try to control our body language, our voice, everything about us we try to control. But what does this do? It makes us obsessed. It makes us hyperfixate, and it actually increases the sensations of the anxiety. The things that we don't want to feel, it actually makes it worse. And what's interesting about this, and I put the research in the show notes, that people with social anxiety actually overestimate how anxious they appear. In other words, you might think that you're coming across really, really anxious, and other people can smell your anxiety. They can see how afraid you are. But the reality is, people are not as good at detecting that as you might think. And usually we don't come across as anxious as we feel. And so the irony here is if we just accepted the fact that sometimes we get anxious, even if you get anxious all the time, if you could just accept the fact that you were anxious and just let your body do what it does, let it blush, let your voice shake, let your armpits sweat, whatever it is that your body does, if you just allowed it to be, you wouldn't obsess as much. You wouldn't fixate. And then you wouldn't be so lost in conversation because you'd actually be able to be present in the conversation. You'd actually be able to listen to the person. And this is the other problem this causes. When we're in our head thinking about all of our symptoms, we can't focus on the conversation. Then we get lost in the conversation and then we get anxious because we don't know what the hell's going on. So if you can just embrace it and say, you know what? My armpits are going to sweat today. I'm going to get a pit in my stomach. My voice is going to shake. Hell, I might even blush today. And some people might look at me funny. Some people might even comment on it. And you know what you do if someone comments on it? If somebody says to you, man, your face looks really red, just own it. Be like, yeah, I know. I look like the Kool-Aid man. Just own whatever the thing is that you're afraid of. Just tell people that you're nervous. I know this is easier said than done, but if you do that, think about what that's going to do. It's going to alleviate all that pressure. Now you don't have to focus on it. You don't have to fixate on it. You don't have to worry about it. You can just let it be. And that will take a tremendous amount of pressure off the anxiety itself. And it will allow the anxiety to just run its course instead of ping-ponging back and forth between feeling anxious, trying to not feel anxious, but it doesn't work. So then you feel more anxious. Just let yourself feel anxious and the anxiety will pass. The other problem with this mindset is that when you start to feel this way, you actually start to become afraid of your physical symptoms. So let's say you're preparing for a date or a party, all of a sudden you're going to start to feel the physical sensations, right? You're going to start to feel anxious, the pit in your stomach, whatever it is. And now you're going to get nervous. You're going to get more anxious because you don't want those symptoms. Because now you're going to think to yourself, oh, great, I'm going to be in a social situation. I'm going to be super uncomfortable. This is going to make me super anxious. How am I going to get over this? And you're going to be in your head. And now the anxiety is more intense. So if we could learn to just accept the anxiety and say, hey, sometimes when I go to places, I'm going to feel really nervous. I'm going to have all these weird, uncomfortable feelings. If we come to embrace that, then you won't be afraid of it. Then it won't come as an alarm. It won't be like an alarm goes off every time you have to go and socialize. You'll notice it coming and be like, yep, that's my anxiety. There it comes. I'm just going to let it be. I'm not going to try to fix it. I'm not going to try to make it go away. I'm not going to try to do anything. And so we're going to shift our mentality to, hey, I'm going to go talk to people even if it makes me feel anxious. Instead of thinking to ourselves, I can't talk to someone because I feel too anxious. Because when that's our mentality, then all we think about is how to reduce the anxiety. But when we do that, we get hyperfixated. So let's just say, you know what, I'm going to go feel nervous today at that party, and I'm going to try to talk to people despite the fact that I feel nervous. And the last thing I want to point out about this whole problem is that the other issue that this brings up is that we begin to attach meaning to the physical symptoms and the feelings that we experience. In other words, if I feel anxious, I might believe something about that. I might think to myself, why do I feel anxious? That must mean I'm so weird. That must mean I'm awkward. That must mean I'm a loser. That must mean I'm weak, because only a weak person would feel anxious, right? But of course, this is not true. First of all, bravery does not come from doing something when you don't feel anxious. Bravery comes from doing something despite the fact that you feel anxious. So the anxiety does not tell anything about your character at all. But you think that it does. So when it comes up, you feel this shame, you feel this embarrassment. Again, you have all these beliefs about what it might mean. And so that dictates how you feel about the anxiety. If we can change that, if we can say to ourselves, you know what, this is just a feeling. It actually doesn't mean anything significant about me other than throughout my life, I've had trouble communicating with people and I get nervous and this is my fear. But you know what? Everybody has a fear. Everybody in your life right now has a fear. Some people are afraid of snakes. Some people are afraid of spiders. Some people are afraid of swimming. Whatever the case is, the difference is your fear consumes you. Your fear you can't escape. Most people can escape their fear of snakes. You just don't live anywhere where snakes are and you're totally fine. When you have social anxiety, you can't do that because everywhere you go, there are people. You cannot avoid socializing. But we have to normalize the fact that this is a fear just like anything else. Everybody has fears. We don't have to add any special meaning to this other than it's just anxiety. So if we can take away the meaning and the fear of the sensations of the anxiety, and we just let the anxiety be, and we stop trying to make it go away. Because I know, obviously, we don't want to feel this. We want the anxiety to go away, but by trying to make it go away, that's what makes it stick around. And oftentimes, that is what makes it worse. So if you struggle with this, if you struggle getting in your head, trying to make your anxiety go away, I want you to try something different next time. Tell yourself, you know what? I'm going to feel anxious the next time I go out. It's going to feel really uncomfortable. All the things that I do, we've talked about in past podcasts about safety behaviors and checking and things like that. All those things I'm going to try to resist. I'm going to try to not engage in those things. I'm just going to let myself be anxious and tell myself I'm going to talk to this person regardless. I'm not going to try to make my blushing go away, my shaking go away, my nerves go away. I'm just going to be nervous. And if people are going to judge me for that, you know what? Screw them. I can't control everything in my life. At the end of the day, we want to surround ourselves with empathetic people, right? So if people are going to judge you for feeling anxious, you're not really losing much, are you? Tell them if you're on a date with somebody, just tell them, you know what? I'm feeling a little nervous today. That takes the weight off. I know it's a little embarrassing, but guess what? Everybody gets nervous. You're making it a bigger deal because you want to be the cool, relaxed, suave guy. Just accept it. You get anxious. Everybody gets anxious sometimes. And anybody with an ounce of empathy will understand that it's okay to get anxious sometimes. I hope you found this video helpful. Please let me know if there's any other topics you'd like me to cover, and I'll see you soon.